taking a break. We had this really cool adventure saving Earth, and I was pretty happy. Anyway, so I needed some me time, and I came to Australia, and that's when I moved in with Daryl.
Hello.
And here we are. It's a nice flat, as you can see, and we get along well. Yeah, I guess I just wanted to be around average, everyday people. And Daryl is an average, sort of everyday guy. So it works out well. While I'm here, I'm trying to get involved with the locals. And who's this purple weirdo?
Vision!
Surprised you actually knew who that was. To give back to the community. Daryl here is helping me craft an electronic letter I'm writing to Captain America and Iron Man. There seems to be something very intense going on between them, and I want to offer my help, my services. Dear Tony Stark, how's it going? I heard you and Captain America were having some relationship problems. Dear Steve Rogers, do you remember when I goaded you into killing those prisoners, and you made me swear to never tell the other Avengers? If there's any other secrets you need kept, just let me know. Because I'm not up to much at the moment. What are you doing later?
I'm just working.
What's he doing?
He's working.
I'd just start my own team. Team Thor, of course. And it would be me and Daryl. Just us, right, D?
Yep.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Next Issue podcast. For our audio listeners, welcome, everyone. So there's a specific reason I played that clip as the opening. So today on the show, we'll be talking about Thor, Love and Thunder. Full spoilers for the movie. It's been out for a long time. It's out on Disney Plus for a while. We planned to do this last week, and then D23 happened, and Josh couldn't make it, so we changed the schedule because we wanted to make sure everyone was here to talk about the movie.
Wait. Josh went to D23 without us?
I did. It was awesome. They gave everyone Werewolf by Night underwear. It was really cool. And then when you put it on, it just tears off. So
Nice.
Yeah. So I had forgotten that clip canonically explains where Thor was during Civil War. Like I just had completely forgotten that. So
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
So,
Go ahead, Daniel.
The reason I play that clip is because we do see Daryl back in this movie, which was amazing. That good for the actor playing Daryl, right? I don't know that he ever imagined he would be such a large part of the Thor mythology after playing that, those little shorts. I think there was like 4 parts of that. I only took a little bit of it because obviously YouTube would probably take us down if I played a lot more. But yeah, welcome everyone. People in the chat. Man Cave Theater says hello. So let us know what you thought about the movie, if you enjoyed it or not. And we'll tell you all about it. But before we start, anytime we're talking about movies now, we have to ask ourselves the most important question, courtesy of the one Harry Styles. So let me play another clip, and then we can get into it. If I can find the clip, I should have had all these ready. Here we go.
My favorite thing about the movie is it feels like a movie. It feels like a real go to the theater film movie.
So I love Chris Pine slowly dying in the background there. Just
Chris Pine, he's trained, he's an actor, he's been, and he's just sitting there listening to Harry explain what a movie feels like.
It's this generation's Donnie Wahlberg explaining movies to me.
Right. Yes, exactly.
So, guys, did this movie feel like a movie?
It felt like a movie.
I was in a movie theater, so yes.
All right, good. I'm glad we got that out of the way. So yeah, like I said, we're gonna get into spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie, sorry, I guess, but you've been warned. Clay, I know you made a little bit of notes, so we're kind of gonna use that as a bit of a structure for the show. But let's just go around. What did everybody think of the movie? Well, we can start with Clay and then go around the clock.
I loved it. I mean, it was fun. I'm trying to think of like really anything I didn't care for. I think even when they put in like the romance back between like Jane Foster and stuff, they did it in a montage way to make it kind of silly and fun. So even that point where I don't feel like they had the best chemistry in the world, they just had to capture moments and it worked. You know, that was probably the weakest part for me. The funnest part is Christian Bale.
Cool. Kyle, what did you think about the movie?
It was fun. I think I agree with a lot of people. I don't think it's anywhere near as good as Ragnarok, but the more and more I thought about it, I wasn't sure. Thor was definitely portrayed a lot like a sad frat boy that it was back, and I kind of miss him being a little more. I like the silliness they did with Thor, but I think he was a little bit too over the top at times. That while being Thor, I was kind of wishing there was a little more seriousness with this whole thing. But I mean, I thought it was kind of cool to see Jane as wielding Mjolnir and becoming the new Thor, and then and the issue I kind of really was not thrown in by was Russell Crowe as Zeus. I thought that whole he was just, I don't know.
Well,
I enjoyed Russell Crowe. I just thought he was, give him 5 minutes and let him be silly and fun. And
we'll get to that for sure. I think, especially when it comes to the after credit scene. But
I'm
Josh,
so used to the Zeus we have in the comic books. He just seems so far right side from what the left side is in the comic book. So I don't know.
Josh, what about you?
I loved it. I thought it was great. I agree with Clay. I felt like the sort of the montage to give us all the context of their relationship was important and needed. Bale, I thought, I mean, he's easily, the second or third best villain. I mean, Killmonger's still top for me. I know Aaron says Thanos, but for me, it's Killmonger.
Oh, no. Fuck that. Loki is my number one villain still. He may have gone good, but Loki has been a constant. Yeah. Has been a constant in the MCU since day one.
I don't even consider him a bad guy anymore.
And that's that's the whole thing.
But and there was some like BS article I read that was I guess when they somebody asked Feige about the change in design for Bale, and he said, "Well, we would have lost his performance." And like, well, that's the writers article like that's stupid. I'm like, no, that is not stupid. Bale killed it, and if they had hidden his entire face to make him look, just for the benefit of a comics accurate, portrayal, it's stupid. He was fantastic in that movie, and by the end, like, it's one of those films where I felt like you're kind of crying for both the hero and the villain. And I think that's a really amazing thing to pull off, where most superhero films have try for a fairly cut and dry good bad, right?
Right.
I don't know. And I deeply respect Kyle, but I disagree. Russell Crowe as Zeus was just Now, granted, I don't know what Zeus is like in the comics. I just like watching him strut around screen speaking in a Greek accent. So,
well, Greek.
Yeah, exactly.
In the comic books, he has the stature that Anthony Hopkins did as Odin, and that's where I kind of like. I mean, I'm okay with having some silliness, but he just. It was if you take away the Thunderbolt, it almost seemed like Zeus didn't have jack shit of being the top god, whereas Odin, Odin proved he was a top god, and that's where I think was kind of taken away from.
I mean,
character.
He survived his own Thunderbolt.
Yeah, but the thing is, but it seems like the Thunderbolt was the only thing that made him all powerful, whereas Odin, I mean, you didn't know exactly how powerful that man was. I mean, he had to go into the Odin sleep, but he was still a badass, and throughout the whole series. And Zeus is just fumbling around at 2-2. Oh, I have a lightning bolt. Just be good. We don't want to fight Gore. Whereas Odin would have been like, bring on Gore. I want to take this man on one-on-one. So it's just like, that's where I'm saying, like, it was such a left field from what he is in the comic books.
I think it would have drawn comparisons too easily if he had been so much like that they would have wanted to compare the two. If he goes in the opposite direction, then it's like, you got to take this character, who has a lot of power, who's just kind of settled for being who he is.
But see, that's what I like. I mean, I like, there have been times when, like, I love seeing like how putting Thor against Hercules in the conflict and saying who's supposed to be the strongest one. There have been times when they bring the whole gods together, and there's Odin meeting with Zeus, and you realize these two are badasses. If they were to go at it, all hell would break loose. And I don't feel like that we would get that with Russell Crowe's Zeus in the movie.
So I will say, I totally see your point, Kyle, but I kind of feel like for this film, their hands were tied, because the question obviously is, why have we never seen these gods before? Yeah. And so sort of the way they structure it is they seem to be sort of kind of not hidden off, but kind of uncaring in their own little section of the universe, right?
We definitely got that with the end credit scene where Zeus is like, all they want to see is their superheroes. They will remember us.
Yeah. So I feel like for the specificities of the MCU itself, they had to do it this way. But I totally get your point. So yeah.
All right. Well, let me chime in real quick. I really enjoyed the movie. I just finished rewatching it right before we went live, like as we were getting ready.
What time did you get up?
I mean, it's very short compared to a lot of the other MCU films.
That's
it's very short.
Right under 2 hours.
Right under 2 hours. So not too early. I started watching around 7:30, I think, and I was doing stuff, getting ready for the show. So I really liked it again. I think this is definitely one of the most Taika Waititi movies I've ever seen. So I think if you don't like that stuff, I completely understand why you wouldn't why you wouldn't like this movie. But I liked it. I really enjoyed the portrayal of Zeus. And I can't wait to see. I think by seeing this portrayal, we're gonna see how he has a different character arc by maybe whatever's next.
Yeah.
Even after the movie came out, I made a little pitch of like what I think should happen next and the events of what the next movie should be. Maybe we can get into that a little bit later. It definitely includes the end credit scene with Hercules, which I love seeing. What's his name as Hercules from Ted Lasso? Yeah, Britt Goldstein.
I had no idea that was coming, and I was really happy.
Me neither.
We just wrapped up season 2 of Ted Lasso, so all of us in the theater, well, I mean, my family, we knew who he was. If we hadn't seen Ted Lasso, we'd been like, "Who's that guy?" So
yeah, no, it's I think I don't know if they updated his look within the theatrical release to now when they put it on Disney Plus. I know they changed a few things.
Okay,
but he looks. I mean, he only had a couple weeks to get Herculean shape. And he looks great.
He's not in bad shape in Ted Lasso. I mean, he's not.
I mean, he plays, but usually soccer players are more lean than muscle, right?
And his body type is very lean. I think even on screen here compared to.
And I know he's not a real soccer player, but his body. Type.
But I will be like, I feel like they can use that to their advantage, because when you see him flex his strength and his powers, it's going to feel more profound than I think the way Hercules is portrayed in the comics. Are like, yeah, that dude can lift a car, so.
I really like the movie. I think it's funny. I think it's emotional in a lot of places. It definitely deals with some heavy topics that I didn't expect. Like from this type of movie. Although having read the comic, I knew that some of that stuff was going to be in here, and we'll definitely talk about that. So I don't know. It's got a good mix. It's got a good balance. I think overall definitely leans a little heavier to the funny side, but But I think that's really to kind of balance out the heaviness of the other stuff that they're dealing with. I wish we had a little more Valkyrie than what we got.
I agree. I feel like there was a whole subplot cut out, because they were clearly setting up like the tension she has as sort of like leader of New Asgard.
I think I would trade some of the Korg bits for some more Valkyrie.
I agree. Yeah. Just
because I like Korg, but too much Korg, it's like eating a whole pie on your own, right? Like after a few slices is not as good as
I will say I give Waititi credit for being able, and he pulls it off twice in this movie, of shocking you with a death, and then the person ends up being okay. Right. And it doesn't feel like a bait and switch. It just I really thought Korg had died. I was like, no, like I love Korg. What's going on? So yeah.
I wasn't. Who was the little bug that's always with Corey? Is that Gary
Meek.
or
Meek.
Meek? I wish we had him in there. I think he would have been a nice.
Her.
Her.
Oh, it's her. Oh,
She shows up one time, and that's where they reference Meek as a her. And I was like, did we know that? Did we know Meek was female?
I saw that in the notes, and I didn't even remember that, honestly.
wow. Okay.
I think in the comics, the race that Meek is from, it's I don't know if they change, or it doesn't matter. So yeah, I mean they're like kind of like insects. So I don't know. Who knows? We need a whatever. What's the science? What's the sciences that studies insects? Let us know in the chat.
Entomologist.
Entomologist. Thank you.
No, entomologist. I always get them confused. Etymologist is language. Entomologist is bugs.
Cool.
I hope.
All right, let's get into. I guess we can go a little act by act. So we start with that opening in the desert, which when I was at the theater, I didn't even know the movie had started.
Oh, really?
It felt like really weird because you just see the shadow walking in the desert, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, wait, because it was like Nicole Kidman, and then this starts playing, and I'm like, hold on, did the movie start? Because it doesn't. It just happens. There's no like,
That's right. Yeah. There's no like, you don't get like the Marvel splash or anything. Yeah.
Right. You get that all like later. You get that first opening sequence.
Yeah.
And I really like that, like just his motivation for Gore being the God Butcher, and it's opening up with Christian Bale is never going to be a bad thing. I think.
Yeah.
I think he was also my favorite performance and definitely top tier villain. Yeah,
they need to bring him back because I feel like we could use more of him as a big bad villain because he seemed to just kind of, I don't know, just every scene he's in, like when he's talking to the kids.
Yeah.
That's just so creepy. Like he's just unsettling and all he's doing. I mean, again, no Gore makeup.
Yeah,
no
exactly.
Gore setup, just his face and just his voice is all he needs.
And I hope he doesn't come back because I feel like that's going to ruin his daughter's return.
He wouldn't come back as a villain if he came back somehow.
I don't know. I would like to think that if he comes back, maybe he's possessed by something and it's not necessarily him. So it would make a really incredible story to have him come back and have his daughter fight him.
Maybe one of those other entities that are in that same hall where Eternity is, like
living tribunal.
No, that's not how it works.
That's
We'll be
best about that is Eternity. I'll wait till we get to the end, but that was my biggest. I wanted to fucking punch somebody about that.
Wait, for what?
How they portrayed Eternity in the movie.
What do you mean?
What? I loved it. That was comics accurate.
Finally, we're getting to where we have one of the most powerful celestial beings in the Marvel universe, and all he's doing is in some fucking hippie sitting stance. We don't hear him talk. We don't hear him do anything. He's just there as an image, and that's all we get.
Oh my god! I nearly lost my shit when I saw it because I was like, "It's like Ditko on screen, even more
that's
so
what I thought.
than
all we saw was him sitting in the fucking Indian style sit down. He didn't do jack. He was like, that's all he did. We didn't hear him talk. I want to see him actually talk to the actual beings, like Infinity Gauntlet, all these books. That was such. I agree with my friend Kern with when you think about the celestial beings we've been waiting for so long to see on the screen. That was the biggest fucking letdown.
Oh man, I loved it. I
loved it. Yeah, I'm with Clay on that.
Like I put in a link to like some of the stuff is straight out of the comics, and seeing Eternity like that was like getting a Ditko splash page.
Right. Oh god,
but we should have seen him like actually talking to Gore. Like, what do you wish? I wanted to see interaction with Eternity. That's the thing. That's what I love about it.
I disagree. I feel like that would have ruined it because it would have humanized.
I think it would have added. I think that we got so let down with that one.
I feel like any mortal being talking to Eternity would have his head blown off.
yeah, that too.
Exactly.
See, I love it when like individuals like Adam Warlock and the Silver Surfer, Doctor Strange are talking to him like when they actually have to like.
Well, but those are super like at this point, Gore didn't even have powers anymore.
Yeah, he's just immortal asking for his daughter
because he lost the sword, right?
I'm not a fan.
I think it would have taken away from the film. I think if we're gonna see some of these beings, it needs to be in the like a bigger cosmic thing as opposed to.
I think we're on the right level because we got Thor who's on that level of the cosmic being. So I think we're perfect in the right area for it.
but here's a theory, right? Because this is eternity. So they introduce eternity here. Eternity is this kind of like stable, sitting in a kind of meditative, unmoving position. We know the multiverse and time are going to be dealt with, right? So what if later on there's an end credit scene where eternity moves? And then we know, oh fuck, right? Like something's going wrong because eternity is eternal. What happens if eternity becomes unstable, right? So that's kind of my rationalization for the fact that it just was there, right? It's like a presence. I walked out of the theater feeling like this was of all of the MCU films so far, this felt the most like a Silver Age comic on screen. From beginning to end, just everything felt like it was bright, it was colorful, it was campy at times, not in a bad way, right? It felt like reading a Silver Age Marvel comic on screen. I was utterly smitten with it the whole time.
Because those comics would also all of a sudden insert like this really serious like plot line for a few pages, right?
Yep. Good point. Yeah, exactly.
So definitely. I do hope we eventually get to something like this. But I don't know. Like it's gonna have to be in a long time here. All these beings and I guess we've seen Watu. We've seen Celestials. We saw 2 of them in this one.
Yeah.
Right outside of the city. So, yeah, I think we'll get to it. Maybe I don't know where the MCU is going. It looks like they're going back to Earth and a little more grounded. But we always have. Who knows what James Gunn's doing in Guardians 3, right? Like other than the stuff we've seen. So.
I mean, I've heard rumors that he goes to Half World. They take the Guardians to where Rocket came from.
I can see that. I mean, I've seen some pictures and stuff.
Well, we're supposed to learn the origin of Rocket in the next movie, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think anything's been confirmed though. That's just the rumor. So I'd like to.
No, I thought Kevin Smith confirmed it. Like when I was listening to one of his podcasts talking, but he was sitting down. I was Hollywood Babylon. He was talking to Ralph Garman about actually having seen the trailer, and he says in the trailer you were
he was there.
Origin. Yeah, but he says like he's watching the trailer and he's crying and he goes, most people know I've cried because I smoke so much pot, but then I felt a hand reach over my knee and squeeze it, and he looks over and it's his daughter, and his daughter's crying along with him.
Oh,
it was and then the other hand, it was Rocket.
It's his little furry paw.
Speaking of the Guardians, the opening sequence after Gore, we get to find out what happened after Infinity War or after Endgame, right? The Guardians left with Thor, and the Asgardians of the Galaxy were born to keep trucking along because it seemed like they were just trying to save worlds, but
no Gamora.
Well, she was 2014 Gamora. She has no connection to them, right? So she left.
Right. So does she just after the Infinity War just leave? I mean,
I think she's trying to figure out where she stands in the whole timeline. I
think they wouldn't. I don't think that was YTD's story to tell as to how they get back together. That's probably a Guardians 3 thing.
I hate to say it'd be nice if in Guardians 3 they show like just a small snippet. The fact she's like an anomaly. Show a small snippet of her taking out the time cops that were in Loki.
Oh yeah, the TVA should be coming after her, right?
Yeah,
she's a person out of time.
Yeah.
Well, they're a little busy dealing with a broken multiverse
now. But I mean, but it would if you show like her kind of explaining where she's been, maybe showing like a small scene just referencing that, because we're definitely like a year or two after all of the Loki now in the MCU. So
we definitely didn't get as much Guardians as we thought we might. I don't know. I guess
I agree. Yeah,
I almost built this up in my head as like half of the movie is the Guardians, and
I was hoping we'd see the Guardians help fight against Gore at least at some point.
Yeah, I kind of assumed. I mean, there's such a heavy presence in the trailer. I assume they were at least in like the first act, much of the first act, and it's maybe 5 minutes tops. I mean, it's not long at all.
Yeah.
I can't imagine them having to do especially Nebula having to do full makeup, and it's like her screen time's like less than 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that. I think one of the things that probably appealed to Christian Bale after reading the script was how little he was going to have to be in makeup, even though it takes a long time to put it on. he only had like maybe 4 or 5 really big scenes, right? I would think, and a lot of it was not with a big cast. So a lot of it feels like, other than the scene in New Asgard, everything else kind of happens off just with a smaller group of people. So they could have probably taken care of that, within a few days. I don't know how long Bale was filming, but I would assume that it wasn't very long, and maybe that's kind of what attracted him to, like, I got to do some makeup, but I don't have to do CGI or whatever, and I gotta so.
Well, they learned from Thor too. I mean, we had Christopher Eccleston in full makeup in that one, and I felt like that really. I mean, the film is not that great, but I think that hurt. I mean, we've seen where actors have been put in full makeup, and like in Star Trek, when they had Idris Elba in the third film, he's in full makeup that you can't even tell it's him. And I felt like
we don't get like just a 5-minute shot of him. Like, he has more screen time than Eccleston did as whatever his name is in Thor 2.
Malachi.
Malachi.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I mean, we at least got him. We felt Idris Elba's presence as that character within the Star Trek film. With Malachi, it was like he has a few lines here. He gets supposed to be in one big fight with Thor at the end, and that's kind of it.
Yeah.
I do wish that some of those villains wouldn't always just go right away. I like Malachi in the comics. I like him a lot. So I wish they would have done something a little better, or maybe left him to come back in the future.
Yeah, because that was a waste of Eccleston. I kind of agree with the others. He was hidden under so much makeup, and you've just got to be able to see his big floppy ears and his expressions. So
yeah, because it'd be great if they did a War of the Realms film and just had him as the big bad, and had frost giants running through New York, and the Punisher just taking out every kind of mythological character you can imagine.
I mean, compare his movie version to his comic book version. I mean, the comic book version, he's this dude with long hair, big floppy ears. I think you could have done so much less makeup and made him seem like Eccleston, kind of this cosmic elf, or
the Dark World version looks a lot like what he was in Jason Aaron's run.
Yeah,
I think that's why they probably updated the character, because he even has the half burnt phaser and all that. So
I would like to see more of like the previous version.
He could have been
more silly.
I do love the opening fight scene whenever like Thor finally gets going. Here we have
the Guardians just sit there kind of like, why are we here?
They really did. Now I got a quick question for you guys. Who did it better? Thor or Van Damme?
I think we are. All right. Well, first off, Van Damme's using chairs. Thor's using trucks.
Well, I couldn't find the one with the truck.
Hey. So Van Damme. Van Damme's on the trucks too.
Yeah, I couldn't find the one with the trucks, so I didn't want to spend too much time googling, Van Damme.
History. All your ads from now on are somehow Van Damme related.
Yeah.
So.
Bloodsport is one of my favorite martial arts films, and I remember that from a kid. That I'm giving it to Van Damme on this one. If he'd used another movie, I might have said maybe Thor, but if it's Bloodsport we're using, Van Damme all the way.
Yeah.
But it just shows Thor's power. I mean, he could just go through the universe, just wrecking people. So it really builds up Gore as just this big bad when he just wraps them all up and just plays with them. I mean, that's just like Christian Bale just rocked that. I want him back.
Yeah. All right. You've convinced me. He may show back up again as an alternate universe. Right, that would and that'd be a way to make it okay, in my mind at least. With
I think if we see him, it's going to be more on like a cosmic level. Like I think like if we see his daughter again, it might be somewhere he's like just talking to her, whether it be like some kind of Jedi ghost thing, or I don't think we're going to see him as in a physical kind of corporeal being wise.
Another really cool thing was having Jamie Alexander come back to portray Sif. Which Clay pulled this up for us. We've seen this image. A sad Rivig's art coming to life in this with Falagor.
Didn't Jason Aaron also post this on his Twitter feed?
Oh, this was when the trailer came out. Like everyone I know that read the Thor comics, including the creators themselves, they were like, that Leonardo DiCaprio meme of like, or Captain America. Like I understood that reference, like all that stuff.
Yeah, because I mean, I love the comic. You know, Gore in the comic gets a longer, like, sadder story. You know, I mean, not just his child dying, his wife. He's an outcast from his own people when he, like, you know, decides that the gods are bad. Like, even though they're all suffering, these people who are still praying to these gods that are useless to them. You know, he's just like, I'm done. And they just cast him out. So not only he's lost his family, he has no friends, he has no community, he is all alone. And they just shortened it enough to just give him that scene with her death and him struggling to try to survive and then meeting the god.
That's the kicker.
That was awesome. Just like, you know, showing up and going, you know, there is no one to worship you. There is no one left. You know, our race is dead. And he's like, oh, well, there'll always be another one. Yeah. He's just like,
he's so uncaring. And what's fascinating is that felt very, I mean, it seems weird to say that felt very accurate for a deity, but it's like the disconnect between the suffering and the belief of the humans and the deity. I mean, that's a huge gulf, and I thought that one scene just portrayed it so well. I mean, so amazingly well. It's like Killmonger in the sense that one of the long-standing critiques of the MCU is that the villains often feel very cut and paste.
Yeah.
And their motivations feel very superficial, and both Killmonger and this film do an amazing job with very little screen time of setting up fundamental motivations for them to be bad, and it just works so well. I love it. It's great.
I mean, you could almost say the same plot is in Preacher, except Jesse goes looking for God instead of going to kill him.
That's a good point.
What did y'all think about the Matt Damon returning?
I love that.
I loved the stage play, and then the reveal of who was playing Hela I loved, and I thought was fucking hilarious.
That was incredible. I laughed my ass off.
I'm not a huge Melissa McCarthy fan. I felt like, you know, we got like a ton of her films all at once for a while, and then just have her show up and just kind of play this role so funny and so silly. That's the right amount.
Yeah. I think she's a perfect casting because the guy that's playing the director is her husband, right? So like it just
that's who that is. I was trying to figure out who that is. Okay.
And seeing Sam Neill as Odin will always warm my heart. Like if Anthony Hopkins wasn't Odin, I think Sam Neill would be a perfect casting also for Odin.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I like that. And then what is it? Is it Luke Hemsworth that plays Thor in the play?
The other Hemsworth.
One of the other
Hemsworth from The Good Place. Which Hemsworth is in The Good Place? I can't remember. Is it Luke?
It's got to be Luke. I don't think
it's not Chris.
It's not Chris. It's not.
How many are there?
There's like 3, right?
I think there's 3 main ones. I don't.
Yeah, and so it's the third one. It's the one that no one really knows outside of
It's not the Hunger Games one, and it's not Chris. So, also, man, Chris Hemsworth got. I don't know if he got extra jacked.
Liam got extra jacked. He said that this was the hardest he had worked out.
It was the one that was engaged to Miley Cyrus.
Oh, okay. So it is the Hunger Games one. Yeah, but Chris Hemsworth looks like every muscle was, I don't know, twice as big. I don't know.
Oh no, shit. I mean, the only other time I've seen somebody that ripped is when they made Evans work out so much for Civil War, when he's holding the fucking helicopter and you just see those muscles he's never been that fucking ripped before.
Yeah. If we Leonard came in the chat, I need more Matt Damon as Loki. If Matt Damon doesn't cameo in season 2 of Loki, with all these variants that we have running around, I think it would be a waste.
That would be good.
You did hear who they got to cast in Loki too, though, didn't you?
Go ahead, Kyle.
I can't pronounce his name. It's Short Round from Temple of
Doom.
Yeah. Oh my God. Total aside. Did you guys see the photo of Harrison Ford with him reuniting? My heart grew like 10 sizes when I saw that picture. I'm like, oh my God, this is so great.
Let's see. I'm gonna give it a shot. Ki Hugh Kwan. I think that's the name of the actor.
Yeah.
He was in Everything Everywhere All at Once. If you haven't seen that movie, go check it out. It's probably it's the best multiverse movie of this year. So
there is not one bad performer in that entire movie. Every single actor kills it. It is incredible.
I love
Oh
it.
man, such a good movie.
Yeah, we'll save that for our best of 2022
Yeah, there you go.
episode. All right, cool. So let's keep on trucking with Thor because we still have a lot to cover. I really like the battle back in New Asgard too. I think Gore showing up at
Yeah.
nighttime was like it almost turned into like a horror movie for a second.
Yeah. Well, you used the Shadow Realm. I don't think we've seen the Shadow Realm yet, have we?
Not that I know. Of.
Not only in Yu-Gi-Oh, not here.
And just see those creatures crawl out of the walls and take the kids.
Yeah.
But I love the idea that Valkyrie is the leader of the people in not just a political sense, but in a military sense. I mean, she's down in the streets fighting and doing everything she can to help. And like, we don't have leaders like that anymore.
And I again, this is why I feel like there's a B plot that they took out that I kind of wish they had kept in. I wanted more of that story because there were a lot of allusions to it, and it never really got explained. I just want to give credit. I don't know if this was the screenwriters or Watiti or kind of everyone, but just having that time jump from when Jane goes and she gets near Mjolnir, and then the fight in New Asgard where she's clearly already been Thor for a while. I thought that was brilliant because when that happened, I realized that's for a perfect reveal, right? And it was wonderful. And then B, you don't need that. I mean, we all kind of know who Thor is, and she's now Thor. So, yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
Well, they do show one element that she has that's different is when she throws the hammer, she can have it break up and come back.
Every time she does that, I think I cheered in the theater. I'm like, yes!
Yep, that's what Leonard Kim is saying. Seeing Jane Foster use Mjolnir for the first time was incredible. Mjolnir breaking into pieces was perfect. I love it. Yeah, I love it too. We did gloss over a little bit because we do see Darcy in this film as well for a brief moment. I love Darcy. I wish we got more Darcy.
I'm so glad we got more Darcy in WandaVision. I need more Darcy in my life. So
it wasn't one of the more somber scenes, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Right? Jane is at the doctor's office. She's getting chemo. I do love how excited she is that. I mean, what are the odds of somebody reading your book next to you in chemotherapy? But yeah, I was like, I've seen the Interstellar. I understand the Rosenberg Bridge.
You understand it? Please explain it to us in detail.
Well, you see, it's easier with a 3D model. So let me grab some stuff. And I do love that Darcy is bringing her snacks. Look, that's and that she's one of the people. Like, it sounds like she only told maybe Darcy and Dr. Selvig about her situation, right? Which, as a scientist, I don't know what kind of scientist she is. I don't know if she could try to solve it herself. Obviously, she didn't succeed. But the fact that she's trying,
astrophysicist, is that right?
Yeah. I don't know. Like her lab looked very different with a lot of microscopes and stuff. So maybe she pivoted once she. But that was really, and then just seeing all that and the resolution of why Mjolnir, which kind of brings us back to what we were talking about. Like we see a flashback in their relationship again, which is really, really cool montage. Just really fun. It almost felt like it could be a short movie. Like it could have been a movie they released in a DVD of something in between these movies, right? So we could get caught up on what happened. It reminds me of the one shots that we used to get in the Blu-rays.
Right.
I miss those.
I do too. I kind of wish, and it's funny because they keep promoting them on Disney Plus to lead into the new films coming out. So we got a whole bunch of the ones with the Mandarin, right? Before Shang-Chi came out.
That one's probably my favorite.
Those are all so good.
I really like it. Which another quick tangent. Ben Kingsley is also coming back in Wonder Man.
Yeah.
Because he's an actor.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Oh, that's awesome.
Yep. So
he killed.
So we're sprinkling D23 announcements all throughout this film because it's all connected.
It's all connected.
But yeah, I love that.
Hear that, DC? It's all connected.
Well, don't worry about connecting stuff. Just make good stuff.
Yeah, that was kind of I was being
baby steps.
Fantastic.
Baby steps, DC. You know, like we can't go from here. Oh, where'd that come from?
I love you always have this at hand. Like, where
Always.
you just have
it's my Mjolnir.
It's my Mjolnir.
Do we have like a Zack Snyder tier in our Patreon that
we
he
should.
can contribute, and we will talk about Justice League every time it comes up?
It should be $1,000 a month, and if you sign up, Danny will talk to you about Zack Snyder for 4 hours.
Done. We'll watch the upcoming Teen Titans Go episode with Zack Snyder. I'm excited. I don't know if it's out already. I've seen some stuff online. I don't know if it's out already. I don't watch Cartoon Network live, so I figured I would just catch it whenever it was on demand. But I've seen some stuff on the internet. Anyways, we'll save that for the Patreon. So subscribe to our Patreon. Link is somewhere on our socials. So yeah, and I will watch. We'll do a watch along, private watch along of Zack Snyder's Justice League, or Watchmen, the director's cut. However you want to spend those 4 hours, that's your call.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Luckily, Zack Snyder has given us 2 options to spend 4 hours talking about
in his comic book world.
That's right. Yeah. All right. So let's. What I was talking about was the way that I guess Mjolnir was re-enchanted with Thor's kind of love for Jane. Like, it was a perfect way to explain, because obviously they couldn't do what happened in the comics because that would take a lot longer, right?
Yeah.
If you haven't read that, go read it. I think Thor being unworthy for years. I think it was like 2 years in the comic books that he didn't have Mjolnir. It was really good. I love that story. I love the reason why it happened, and it's all kind of connected to all this stuff. So if you haven't read it, go check it out. If you don't know what to read, hit us up on social media. We'll give you a reading list.
Oh, I would just start with the Jason Aaron run. If you enjoyed this movie, you're going to get pieces of this movie in a bigger, different story that still has huge payoffs. I mean, Gore's has a different look. Gore has a longer, origin story. Mighty Thor has more to her. I mean, there's just a lot more to that he packed into this film and put it under 2 hours. That still blows me away.
Yeah. So I do have one complaint about this movie that it's not that I didn't like it. I just felt like it was a little overdone. And that was the whole jealousy angle between Mjolnir and Stormbreaker. I mean, it would have been fine once or twice. It happened so many times that I was just like, I'm kind of over this,
I was just about to go there. I'm glad you brought it up.
Yeah.
Because it's funny. It's really just Stormbreaker being jealous of other weapons.
Yeah, true.
When Thor talks about the Thunderbolt, the Zeus lightning bolt, Stormbreaker also does, like, you hear something happening outside the ship, right? Where Thor has to go calm Stormbreaker down, give Stormbreaker a beer. So I like that a lot. I found that really funny, especially when Stormbreaker kind of sneaks up from behind.
Yeah.
And the thing I love, and I will always love about the MCU, is every time that Chris Hemsworth's so good at being so hesitant to pick up Mjolnir because he's scared that one of these days he may not be worthy.
Right.
When he hands Jane the hammer back, he hesitates for a moment, and then when he grabs it, you could just see his face light up like, I'm still worthy, even after all this time, everything that's happened.
Because he's never judged by Stormbreaker.
Right. Well, and so is that because basically he effectively made Stormbreaker, right? Whereas Mjolnir was given to him.
And
like, you had to prove your worth.
Yeah, I don't think he can break Odin's enchantment regardless, right? Because that was Odin's.
Yeah,
Odin enchanted that, and that's how it spans across to her, to Mighty Thor.
Okay.
Now, I got to throw out some love for 2 of the best characters in that whole film, the goats.
Yes.
The goats are awesome.
Every time they scream, I'm pretty sure I laughed out loud in the theater. I mean, every single time.
I thought they were going to be like, these just characters that were going to help pull the boat, and then they're on Dark World, and you see the one beast that's about to crumble on Korg's face, and the one goat just picks Korg up, runs, and then when it just comes to there's a flying face butt to the demon. I'm just like, okay, that's badass.
Oh, look at that! That's awesome.
These are Happy Meal toys that
for real? It's so cool.
And they all connect to a boat. and they're the front piece.
Oh,
That's so cool.
And so I have this, a Rocket, and a Star Lord.
Clay just didn't buy enough Happy Meals to get the full boat.
That's right.
Yeah, I love.
I believe is like 5 Happy Meals put together. Never mind. Go on.
Here we go. Now here are the goats. I love them. I know the aliens gave them to Thor as a joke or as punishment for destroying their temple.
Yeah,
But they came in clutch, like Kyle said. They really saved the day, and Korg too. Like he would have been lost in that Shadow Realm planet.
And what I've read of Jason Aaron is they are actually part of his real mythology.
Yeah.
The goats are. So it wasn't like he just pulled something out of his ass for that.
Tan Grissner and Tan Joster. Man, I can't read the Norse names are difficult to
You do better with Korean names.
Yeah.
You do
Yeah, for sure. But those are really cool. I like them a lot. And in the comics, they're really cool too. Like they look so cool. Such an interesting design.
You know, one piece that I was very curious about is like we knew that they were hinting at the God Butchers coming because, like in Moon Knight, gods are missing at certain points, and that's kind of that I always thought that was the hint at what was happening in the world. That it was overlapping with Thor because the Egyptian gods were missing. Like, you know, when Mark goes to the museum at the very first time, he says, "Hey, you're missing like 2." And then when they would have the gods gather, there were always they were never fully every god there in Egypt. So I just felt like there should have been bigger things happening with all these gods dying.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I wish we had seen more gods being taken out. Like, just even if it's just like little instances of that stuff, right? Like the fight or the aftermath, or like we only saw one of them really, like with Falangar,
Right.
and everything else is just like, you know, base level gods, whatever that means.
It was kind of a missed opportunity, particularly because they have both the TV settings and the film settings. Like, I'm thinking back to reading to when we read Infinity War the first time, and there's a great sequence in there after Thanos snaps his fingers where there's a couple pages where it just shows the impact across like the Marvel Comics universe. Right. And if you think when those movies came out, if they had as robust, like if Disney Plus existed then, we may have seen in just series like people suddenly vanishing, right? Like they could have done the same thing. So it is kind of a weird thing. They didn't apply that here, you know, to all the other series that are occurring. I don't know. It is weird.
Real quick, since Leonard Chat asked, and yes, I had seen them before, and I did find them. We do have both of the goats are part of the Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
My God.
Because Yu-Gi-Oh has run out of ideas, so they definitely got
They've run out of ideas.
I love it. I'm sure I have those cards somewhere in my house.
Of course you do.
Within all the cards that I bought.
Leonard Kim also asked, is Darcy in this, is it pre or post WandaVision? And I was kind of curious about that too. When does this movie take place?
I'm gonna guess post.
Yeah,
Post,
I would think
okay.
post.
Yeah, post, because this is years after Endgame, and WandaVision happens 2 weeks after Endgame.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't worry, guys. I got a whole. You can't see it on screen, but there's like a whole set of, like a big timeline on this side.
Is it just like a Charlie Day board? You know, you're just like,
yeah. It
Tying
gets real
everything
complicated
together.
because now that there's multiple timelines, I gotta go 3D with it. So it really takes up a lot of room in here. All right, so let's go to Omnipotent City, which, as you can see here, that's in our background. You can't see it right now, but that's kind of what you can see in the background. I love the design,
mm-hmm.
and I love all the little hints of all the like everyone we kind of visit, right? In the like little hints of like, oh, these are all gods. Like I know a few Aztec gods get name dropped by Thor.
Yeah.
And we just see a lot of gods that we can probably assume who they are. I'm sure there's a list in the internet somewhere. Was there any in particular that kind of jumped out at you guys? Like, oh,
Bo, the dumpling god.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That's what I thought. Oh my god, they just put this in to sell a bunch of Bo figures because that was just the cute little action figure that could be a pillow or whatever, and I could see that actually just being sold like hotcakes, like their baby Groot.
Is this their way to connect this to their animated universe? Because Disney had that little short about, maybe it was Pixar.
It was
That's
Pixar.
it was Pixar, yeah. But that would make oh my god. So is the Pixar universe and the MCU now officially canon
I
overlap?
think through
It's all the
somewhere.
same universe.
Yeah, that was good. And not only that, Bao looked delicious.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love a good dumpling.
I did.
mean, and I haven't
did-
seen one action figure of that, and I'm surprised.
Yeah, I did like that whole scene, and yeah, I don't know. It was kind of cool seeing like a gathering of deities from like all these different faiths and parts of the world and universe. It
I
was,
wish
it
they
was-
would have shown a
That's-
few more, because I mean, we've seen so many different gods in the Marvel. I mean, if it's just like cameos, like, oh, there's this, there's this, there's this.
yeah,
I like that there were two Celestials at the end after they
Mhm.
leave, and you see them turn
Yeah.
and watch.
yeah,
But I do my complaint with that is that's when it felt like a DC movie, because DC's third
Yeah.
act are always like just pure green screen. It's all just CGI, and when they walk in, they do that pan of the entire area, and it just felt like a DC movie. Like they're just going full green screen. None of this is real. We're just getting a cool moment to ooh and ah over the artistic detail of it.
I don't know what Clay's talking about.
He's
It
not
was-
wrong.
First off, it had at least 18,000 more colors than any Zack Snyder movie. So
Oh, very
just that-
It was
just that one scene.
it was like the reverse, like a negative of a Zack Snyder shot.
It was just
Yeah.
all gold.
Like-
I,
by
I
the
do
way,
want to pull up. I know we talked about this a little while ago, but the concept art for some of the
Oh,
gods that they
it's
had.
so cool. Look at the Galactus.
Galactus.
Yeah.
Galactus
we have
is in there.
we have Ares, Galactus, the Sidorak, who's the god behind the
Juggernaut.
Juggernaut's powers, and then a whole bunch. We have Hercules here and concept, which we did see at the
Oh.
end.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch, and I love looking at the concert sometimes. The
that
concept
just the
sometimes
main
behind
guy?
because
Is that Ganesh over there?
I don't know, Josh. I'm not a
All right.
theologist.
I'm sure I'm probably wrong. Someone's gonna correct me. By the way, we've been remiss. The best side character in this entire movie, the songs of Guns N' Roses.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean,
So
by the
good.
end of the movie, I'm like, I've got to go listen to to Guns N' Roses all afternoon now. So
I love it, especially because Guns N' Roses is one of my favorite bands, so that was really, really cool.
And
That's
awesome.
Heimdall's son, he loved
Yeah.
it too. Like that was pretty cool. Like he had named himself Axel and was just into
Yeah.
Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, I wish he had at the end. I wish he had been wearing the bandana when he's training with Sif.
Oh, that'd have been good. Shit.
Um,
Man.
I want to address. So Kyle brought up earlier, kind of like the Zeus of it all, right? How he's a very different character from the comics, but I think the way that the gods treat him by kind of like what do you call it? Just humoring him to do all his silly shit, like his entrance and just being so extra about it. That kind of tells you how powerful he is, because even all these gods, like, they just let him do whatever the fuck he wants. It's not as cool probably as seeing him like kick some ass, but it is a way to portray
Is
like.
he really that powerful, or is he just pretending to be that? Or
No, I think he is. Although I do get what you're saying, because he goes to whisper to Thor like, "Yeah, I'm scared shitless of the god, but
Yeah,
he's got
see,
the
that's my
necro
point.
sword."
I think he's been given such a high role that he's
Yeah,
it's an illusion that he's this powerful, so he's using it to his advantage.
maybe he talked. I mean, maybe he's just a good politician that talked his way up to the.
See, that's yeah.
I like
I love
that.
it. When then
I don't
he,
know. I kind of felt like this portrayal of Zeus is more mythology accurate. I mean, come on, the dude like talks how many creatures into having sex with him? It's like this felt like that Zeus, maybe not like the Marvel Comics Zeus, but
It's all
it
about
felt
the
like-
orgies.
yeah, exactly. Like, hey, see that swan over there? We're gonna get together. It's like, I mean, it's like that kind of Zeus. So
yeah, here, but I did do some googling, and I found the picture of young Zeus from the MCU. He definitely has aged a little. He let himself go a little. Just kidding. That's Jor-El.
Joel.
That's so cool that he's been in both. I didn't even think about it till right, until I pulled this back up. I was like, oh yeah, he's been in both DC and Marvel stuff.
Him and Gore.
Yeah.
We have two actors in this movie that have both been in DC.
Oh man, and I wish they would have been
Marvel.
in the same movie. That would have been cool.
That would have been cool.
You know.
Oh wait, no, sorry, never mind.
Yeah, no, I know. I was trying to connect the dots.
Wait, were they both in Batman v Superman? But no, that was a different Batman.
Christopher Nolan was the only producer on that. I do want to talk about, since Clay brought it up earlier, when Gore shows up talking to the kids, it made me think like, man, what if Christian Bale had been the Joker instead of Batman? Like just that specific scene when he's talking to the kids and he pulls out when he pulls out the thing and then decapitate. Like he loves being decapitated, and then he rips off its head and throws it at the kids. Like all that, like it really gave me some of those vibes of like, oh, this guy's a fucking psychopath.
Maybe if they do a screen version of the Batman Who Laughs, it could be.
Oh yeah! Oh, that would be cool.
Ooh, that would be cool.
You heard it here first. We'll consult on your movie. or if you're still looking for somebody to run this shit, I think as a group we can probably put something together.
I mean, I can imagine Christian Bale doing a Joker, but I feel like that laugh still has to come from Joaquin Phoenix, because that laugh is just so insane. Like that is from a crazy place, and maybe modify it to a Bale level.
Well, if we just get Mark Hamill to put the laugh in.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
Special performance by Mark Hamill.
You know, okay, so here's just a weird random thing that popped in my head. If you take a list of actors who played iconic heroes and then played villains, you've got Christian Bale, you've got Mark Hamill. I'm trying to think who else.
Wait. What hero did Mark Hamill play? Oh, you're talking about Luke?
Luke Skywalker.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking more if you're going by the Marvel or DC kind of.
Oh no, I'm just saying like in general, right?
Well, then Heath Ledger, because he was William in A Knight's Tale, and there.
Cumberbatch, because he was both Sherlock and Khan. Let's not talk about Khan, but he was Khan.
He was Khan.
Look at Clay's face. He's like,
we were conned. We were conned by seeing that fucking movie.
Yeah.
I know that Into Darkness was awesome.
I do love this comment. Zeus really had the audacity to call him low-level gods. The balls on that man. Also, Cate Blanchett.
Oh, Cate Blanchett. Yeah, excellent.
Wait, okay, she played Hela, but what else? What did she play on the hero side?
Shit, I just had it.
Let me see.
You're wrong.
Well, hold on.
Yeah, because that would.
Oh, Lord of the Rings. Duh.
Oh shit!
All right.
I knew there was one.
Yeah, exactly.
The only other one I could think of was, and I'm thinking of the wrong actor anyway. So, yeah, that's right, Galadriel.
Well,
sorry.
I guess you could talk Chris Evans.
Yeah.
Captain America and Human Torch, but he also played one of the evil ex-boyfriends in Scott Pilgrim.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Sorry, Galadriel. I have the current Galadriel on my mind.
Brandon Routh.
I forgot.
I was just about to say that. Yeah. Same thing, same movie, actually. So,
and then you would say Brie Larson, because she was.
Yeah. Okay.
Being an ex doesn't make you a villain.
In that movie, it did.
In that movie, it did. Yeah.
But she was the ex though. She wasn't.
But she was also his. I mean, he had to overcome her to move on. And
right.
So, in a sense, it was his own.
Also, side note: Scott Pilgrim was the villain of that movie.
Yeah.
Nothing entitled him to, and
Scott
he was going with a high school girl.
Villain in the comic series too. Let's just call it spade a spade. I mean, it's
that could be its own show.
Heroes.
Times when the heroes were a little not correct in their assumptions.
Heroes who are actually villains. Scott Pilgrim, Rorschach. Like who else we got here?
Anybody that calls Rorschach a hero really misread Alan Moore's Watchmen.
Yeah, they don't get the purpose of him.
I think that's a pretty high percentage of.
Oh yeah.
Readers. So
cool. All right, let's keep trucking. I know we're gonna go a little long on this one, but I think that's okay.
Yeah.
Well, at least as far as the main topic goes. So I think let's jump ahead to the battle on that little planet. I love the way they land on the planet because it's such a dumb gag that the planet looks small because it's far away, but it's not really.
Yeah.
And the ghost just kind of crashed right into like the tiny moon.
What was it? No, when you would see like when they would pull out from the planet and you saw like the fighting, like each little hero was on different areas. The one thing that it made me it brought me back to being a kid was if you ever watched The Little Prince on Nickelodeon.
Oh yeah.
B612. It was like such a small planet. I had flashbacks of that cartoon because it was such a small thing with all this action happening. I was like, how are they fighting on that? Damn.
I loved it because just everything was visually stimulating.
Yeah.
I mean, from the crash to everyone having the color wiped out, but then when the mighty Thor would light up her hammer, it just lit up color in just like enough area like a torch would.
Yeah.
And it was so cool just to see that little bit of color dosed in there. And then the fight, and the only thing that never had color taken from it was Zeus's lightning rod.
Right.
And that was cool as hell.
So I might be jumping ahead a little bit, I guess, but no, I am. Go on. Sorry.
The other thing is just, I mean, Gore's control of that world, from having the vines pull them in and just playing with them, just taunting them and then pulling them into darkness. Like, fuck, that was just so goddamn good. I like, and again, Valkyrie, when she's battling, when you watch her in the throne room with Zeus and everything, she is just, the shots of her, she is enjoying every moment of killing those people. She loves being a warrior.
I want that B plot. I don't know if there's like a special edition they can put it in, or if there's going to be like a Disney Plus series. But I want Valkyrie, right? And it's just her like hating being a politician and like just going to planets and beating shit up and being so happy about it. You know, it's like
release the Valkyrie cut.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
No, you're right.
I mean, I would love to see her just go toe to toe with gods that were, I mean, like obviously battling Gore the God Butcher, but like I would love to see her battling other gods that were her level or stronger, because she just seems to be able to just slice and dice and do whatever she wants. Like she does a spinning slice with her sword in the throne room. That's really awesome. Or Omnipotent City.
Yeah, and then she just kind of like extends her arms and takes the camera does it really cool. It would have been, if more gods had gone to the little planet, I think it would have looked really cool with all this like gold blood all over the place, right? Because I don't think the blood would have stopped being gold, since they are gods. Because I mean, in Omnipotent City it looks cool, but there's no contrast because everything is so bright already.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah.
So, and then just all the floating rocks, it gave a very like another what was the planet they were on in Infinity War? Titan. You know, Titan had different gravity and that look. I love that. That style looks like straight from a Ditko comic.
I also really like the designs of the creatures that the Necrosword summoned. Obviously, they can use the Clintars, who are the race of the symbiotes, because that's what in the comics that's all tied to the Necrosword and the All Black. But I love the designs. Like you could just really do kind of nightmarish stuff. There was like a giant spider thing, and like every one of them looked cool, and you could see like the true power of Gore and the Necrosword as he was kind of working on all this stuff. I mean, working with these things that just at his beck and call. Like the sword itself was only used in battle very little. It was really more about summoning those things and the vines and stuff. So,
well, maybe it was destroyed so the Clintar can bring it back whenever they finally bring over Venom and the symbiotes.
There is now a piece of Venom in the MCU that stayed behind after after that Spidey movie, because that's then it's gonna go get stuck in the back of a bicycle in Cancun or wherever the hell he was.
if the MCU can make Venom cool and something I want to see on screen, more power to them.
Hold on a second. Venom is cool. I love this Tom Hardy.
I
movie.
know. I am. That is the period I stopped reading Spider-Man. Was when Venom emerged. I was
Oh, somebody
you
needs
missed out
to
so
read,
much, dude. Oh my
somebody
God.
needs to read the Donny Cates Ryan Stegman run.
Yeah, I mean, Donny Cates makes it fun.
all right. I mean, I'll give it a try. But like for me, the like I'm so off topic. I'm sorry. For me, the iconic like interaction between Spider-Man and the symbiote is from Web of Spider-Man #1, which they kind of incorporate into Spider-Man 3, right? But
Yeah.
to me, that is like just the best. And then they turn him into a bad guy, and I don't know. I find it dumb. I don't. I'm old man shaking my fist at clouds. I know that. I'm fully aware of that. But I'm just not a fan of Venom. I never have been. So
What if I told you that there's a comic you can read where Venom, he struggles with Eddie Brock, and that's a big part of the plot where they clash with each other.
maybe.
And it's drawn by Ryan Stegman.
Okay, well, that's pretty good. I mean, I'm even reading Savage Avengers with Anti-Venom in it, you know.
Oh
and I'm
yeah,
like,
Hell yeah.
Savage Avengers is awesome.
Flash Town.
it is a good book. I just
Yeah, it's a fun book.
yeah. Anyway, sorry, go on. I totally derailed us.
Well, and then we get to probably the coolest part of the movie too, but also like the saddest part of the movie where Jane, like, I think she gave it her all. Or we thought she did, at least. And it's interesting because in the comics also the hammer would undo all the chemo and everything, all the treatment she was getting for cancer, and she knew that every time, right? And every time she transformed into Thor, the magic would rid her body of all that.
Yeah, but I'm surprised, even in the comic books wise, that like if she's in the Asgardian body, it would basically null and void any human sickness that she might have. So I'm surprised she was getting weak in Asgardian form. I get it. Like if she were in human form, I get it. She would be freaking frail. But like if she's in Asgardian form, I'm surprised she just as long as she held the hammer, she was fine no matter what. And there would be situations where she would drop down, like, oh, something's hitting me. Like she's getting weaker.
That's definitely different from the movie to the comics, because in the comics, the conflict within her was that does she want, like, she would have to stop being Jane Foster if she wanted to keep being alive.
Right. Which is funny because this is so far in the MCU the only presentation of that aspect to Thor the character. Like they've never done the Donald Blake aspect of it, right? So this is the only time we have a human Gesundheit. The only time we have a human character that transforms right into Thor.
Yeah, you're right. So yeah, interesting. I mean, it's just interesting that I guess they had to change it for the story to work, but that was definitely.
But now we got it to where she can become a new Valkyrie.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's true because she's died.
Yeah.
Now I do want to point out, because we jumped over it a bit, one of my absolute favorite scenes in the entire movie, and this is quintessential Waititi turning all the kids into fighters. Like every one of them, like just
that.
Oh man, it is so amazing. Just that little girl with her. Yes, exactly. Oh, it's so good. I love that whole scene so much.
That's where he knows how to make it fun on screen. Like he takes what's on paper that's like this heavy story dealing with child death and how a parent has to carry on, dealing with cancer and pet and who you are, how you choose to go out. Is really Jane's story at the end is. Like she can stay there knowing as much as she's done to try to live, or she can go out fighting.
Yeah.
And she chooses to fight. But the kids are fantastic. Like that scene, and then put to Guns N' Roses.
Yes, so good.
Once again, Hemsworth's performance when he's doing the enchantment, and then for a limited time, he throws in that little, like really just really good, and then. Axel, I like him a lot too. I think he was a cool character, so I'm glad. Hopefully, we'll see him again in the next one. I think maybe he, as he gets a little older, we can get somebody that's all seeing again. So really, I like that sequence a lot too. I just love that. Although I guess he was channeling the power of Thor through the lightning bolt. I don't know.
So that's kind of what
he didn't have the Stormbreaker or the other one. He just had that. But yeah, either way, I really liked it, and then. The kits, I love that they were like from all over the place too, because you can tell the Asgardians picked up maybe some refugees from other places,
Yeah.
or they already had refugees in Asgard before it blew up. Which we get our first Lycan, which we'll probably see more Lycans in the future of the MCU.
Oh, I hadn't even thought of that. Yeah, good point.
So really cool. But yeah, I love that sequence too. And then we get to the end fight, which just really cool. Like that's when things get serious, right? When Thor shows up when Jane shows up after Thor kind of was not being able to handle, and she makes that decision. Like I really like that stuff. I really like it looks so cool, and they use the slow-mo right. They use the music perfectly. Like all that stuff just really works.
Yeah. How many gods' heads did you notice in that fighting room trying to get to eternity? Because I think we see Utah, the Living Tribunal, and a celestial head.
Yeah, I think there's 5 total, but I didn't recognize all of them.
Okay.
I totally missed it. I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch. I didn't even see that.
Yeah,
because I believe the head that falls that Thor catches is Arsham the Judge.
Yeah.
I believe that's one of the Celestials. But then I thought that was the same Celestial that we saw in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 using an Infinity Stone to like wipe out
those could be statues as like tributes to them. That maybe they're not really there.
Yeah.
Right.
Because we did see, I don't know if the Celestials that were in Omnipotent City were the same, because I don't want to sound racist, but all Celestials look alike to me.
Well, the head of Ashram the Judge looks like that one that you see in Omnipotent City turning and watching Thor when he leaves.
Yeah. Speaking of, go read Judgment Day. It's really fucking cool.
How many books is it?
Only read the main ones. I only read the main 6.
I'm gonna wait for the trade.
Yeah,
I'll wait for the trade.
We'll talk more about that later if we have time. But yeah, really, really cool. I like, and then I liked when they went into Eternity. I know Kyle said he wasn't a fan. But I like that.
I'm not gonna go back on that.
Like I think
whose voice do you want to use as Eternity?
I don't know. I wish he would have been an activated character interacting with them. That's all.
Because we don't have Gilbert Godfrey anymore, and I would have Gilbert Godfrey.
As much as I love Gilbert Godfrey, I do not want him as a celestial being unless it's somebody like Eon. Eon would have been perfect as Gilbert Godfrey. Not Eternity.
My God.
Clay is just that will never leave my head now. If ever he talks, I'm just gonna hear Gilbert Godfrey.
It's like fade in, Eternity stands over Gore the God Butcher and says Affleck.
My God.
Oh my God, it's so awful.
I can't wait to see Clay's edit of that.
Let's take lines of Iago from Aladdin and just put
plug them in.
Eternity.
So what did you guys? I do like that. I guess Korg as a narrative device was fun because in the end it pays off with, retelling. Now this is the story of the mighty Thor,
right?
Jane Foster, and you get to see the statue which came up real quick. Those Asgardians work. Those Asgardian, I guess those enchanted tools that they have for construction, they really work fast.
And so it again applies the concept like we learned in some of the previous, like Moon Knight, like when you die, whatever religion you worship is your afterlife. Yeah. And so because she had adapted the Asgardian ways and taken on Mjolnir, that she went to Valhalla, she sees Heimdall and is accepted to live in the afterlife with the gods. That's just cool as hell. Like they're just acceptance of everything, and then portraying it on screen like that was really neat to see.
Would a version of Loki be in Valhalla?
Oh, that's
I
true.
think so. If he actually did a heroic deed unselfishly, I think he would be.
I think by the end when he died, he was trying to be a hero.
Yeah,
with Thanos, right?
Here's a question: does every multiverse have its own afterlife?
That's a whole. Well, no. I was reading the most recent issue of New Fantastic Four, and they're talking about how the priest that's in it is asking, "Who is this? It's the devil." And
Yeah.
Where he goes, no, he's like one of the devils. Like, well, he's not the devil. He's in charge of one of the levels of hell. He's like, how many levels of different hells are they? And he goes 9. So it's like, it's who knows how many we've got of each thing in just one universe, Marvel.
Isn't that Dante though? I took the 9 as a Dante reference.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Maybe. Maybe.
The one thing I looked at online was the concept art for Gore the God Butcher, and like how much would that have changed Christian Bale's face? And I don't feel like a lot. I mean, he just kind of had like tentacles off of his head that in the comic he uses almost like as a tool to just like be creepy as hell.
Yeah. I think the issue would have been that it would have had to been, I think losing his brow and his nose just really would have taken a lot from his expressions in his face, because that was a big part of it. Like and even if Thor jokes about it, like, I'll tell you when you go to the dentist or whatever, like that whole scene, like all that stuff, like they really zoom in on his face every once in a while.
And
So
you
I think
see
it
the
just would have
scars from all the battles.
Yeah.
I do like that addition, that as he grows in power, you see his body taking the wrath of those beatings.
Yeah, well, and he's also becoming more and more corrupted throughout the film. So you need to see more of his face to be able to see that corruption.
Because he starts leaking that black fluid or whatever. I wonder if eventually he would have ended up like that other being, just looked all black.
Yeah.
From the beginning of the movie. We have somebody needs to hold a sign in the Marvel comics that says Dante was right.
I love it.
So we'll use this comment from Leonard Kim to kind of help us wrap things up. Overall, I think Love and Thunder had some amazing fight scenes. I really liked it. I really enjoyed the movie. It's definitely not as good as Ragnarok, and I think it is because Taika Waititi can definitely go too hard on some of these scenes, and like I said, I think we would have been better served with maybe having some other stuff instead.
And I think he's already said he's not going to be doing the next film because of how much backlash he got on this one.
So here's my thought. Like I feel like I enjoyed both movies. I feel like Ragnarok had a much looser structure, right? Like it was just kind of like a buddy picture with this kind of overarching, very loose idea about Ragnarok. This movie has a much tighter plot line.
Yeah.
And I don't know if maybe that's what the haters were responding to. I don't know if it was just, oh God, the mighty Thor is hero woman. We can't have that. I mean, even though that's like,
I mean, that's definitely part of it. But I think, I've seen valid criticism as well. So it's definitely not. And like I said, if Waititi's not your cup of tea, you're not gonna enjoy his Star Wars movie that he's making. So,
I will.
We probably will. But, any final thoughts before? I guess the last thing I do want to touch on is that end credit scene, the first one. We did talk about Jane going to Valhalla, so.
And we've already talked about
Hercules. In the comments, who's going? Who else is that in Valhalla? What's that, Kyle?
I said we've already talked about Hercules too. So. Yeah,
but now I get to pitch you my my story for the next movie.
Yes,
which I did in a video. So if you want to go check it out. So what I want now we know that Hercules is going to be coming for revenge on a warpath, and there's a few gods that Hercules can call upon to be his warbound. So what if we take the World War Hulk story and then drop in Hercules as Hulk? So Hercules and the gods come and do what Hulk did to the Marvel universe.
They're not going to do it because they've already announced we're supposed to be getting a World War Hulk storyline.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything confirmed. I don't know.
That's true.
Don't ruin this for Daniel, guys.
I got you. He still likes Justice League, so I got you.
I know. It bums me out that there are so many rumors because, I even picked up something that was a rumor and put it on last week's show.
What?
That all the casting names that had come out, and I was kind of bummed. But it's like we try to take what's out there and make it fun. We don't are committed or disappointed if we don't hear about it. And I think that was a lot of
one rumor
take we saw.
I did get right though. They are making what do you got, the new Black Widow, the leader of the team.
Oh, of the Thunderbolts.
Yeah. Thunderbolts.
So I have a question as well, and I could be wrong about this. Isn't there a period of time where Hercules is part of West Coast Avengers?
No.
Just regular Avengers.
Yeah, the thing
Regular
is part of
Avengers,
West Coast
okay.
Avengers, but not Hercules.
But there is a part of the comics where Hercules takes over the Hulk comic, which is kind of what kicked off my.
And that's what that was the World War Hulk one. That's when he
so.
teamed up with Angel and Amadeus Cho to kind of I guess fight with the Hulk.
I like that run. I like the whole thing, like that whole Greg Pak, like from Planet Hulk all the way to all the aftermath of World War Hulk and everything else he did after that. I love it. So go read it if you can.
I just want to see Goldstein and Ruffalo share the screen together, because they are two very different personas.
So
was
that Goldstein as Hercules?
Yeah. From Ted Lasso.
Well, no, because I listened to a podcast of his. It's the movies that you would be buried with.
Yep.
Oh.
And
cool.
I hear his voice on there, and he has got such a. I'm trying to think of the nicest way to say it. Such a fucking high tone, almost.
Really? Is
like,
he?
The way he speaks is so soft and high pitched that I don't see him like. It's hard to envision that he's the kind of guy that would get into as Hercules.
Have you not seen him in Ted Lasso?
I've never seen Ted Lasso.
His voice, his real voice, is nothing like Roy Kent's voice.
So he's like, who's the actor from Brooklyn Nine-Nine who you hear her actual voice, and it's like
Stephanie Betts.
Oh yeah, the one who plays a tough bitch.
Yeah.
Rosa.
I did not realize this about him, because in Ted Lasso he has a deep,
very podcast, and he sounds like he's probably maybe 5'7", 110 pounds. Like he's very like.
I feel called out right now.
I need to track this down because I didn't know this.
I didn't know.
It's an excellent podcast. Like he brings in movie stars and comedians and everything, and they talk about maybe 20, 25 minutes, and he goes, "Oh, I got some bad news I forgot to tell you about. You died." And he has them come out. It's like, "How did you die?" And they say, "Okay, well, this is how you died." Well, I want to. What's your favorite thing? He goes, "Oh, hamburgers." Well, I want to let you know, heaven's real. And it's full of nothing but hamburgers. And he goes, and I want to know, what was the first movie that you got scared in? And what was the first movie that you kind of got? And he actually goes, what was the first movie that excited you? And when I mean excited, I mean what made you become a man? What was the first one that kind of aroused you? So it goes all the different films. That like, what was the first one? This, what movie do you think is probably the most crappiest film out there? But you love it. It's such a hidden gem for you that no matter what anybody says, you're gonna love watching it no matter what. He gets all
Hudson Hawk.
The core.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm trying to find this podcast. Hang on.
Hold on.
Go listen to some interviews or something. It's really.
Let me find the official title of it.
It really helps that Roy Kent's every other word is like a cuss word. So
yes, it
that
does.
really adds a lot of.
So to be comic accurate, Hercules, what do you guys feel he needs to bring?
He needs to be a woman's man. Like he needs to be like, oh, I can a heavy drinker, and he needs to be a woman's man. Like he's there to appease every fucking female within a 90-mile radius.
Yeah. I always thought Hercules was a fun character who always added, something, a fun element to the Avengers when he showed up in a book, because he was always drinking and always running around with women. There's
been one time that I've seen him almost out of character, and I've never seen the man that pissed off. But it was like during the during the late 80s when they did the Master of Evil, when they took down the Avengers and they almost beat him into a coma. He comes back looking for Goliath. This is back when Hawkeye was a member of the Thunder. He was leading the Thunderbolts.
Oh, was he Goliath?
No. But he's come back like he wants to kill Goliath for all the damage he did to him, and he's about to beat him down, almost kill him. He's got this big rock about ready to impale him on the heart, and Hawkeye just jumps right in front of him. And he's not going to move. He goes, look, if you're going to kill me, you're going to have to go through me too. And Hercules is just there with so much anger. And he goes, throws it down to the side. He says, I want to let you know this. I am giving him his life today because we were friends. But know this now. We are no longer friends. The next time I come back, you better not stand in my way. And just walks away. Hawkeye stands down Hercules.
That's awesome.
I thought Kyle was going to tell us, and that was the first time Hawkeye died in the comics.
Well, it probably was.
So I also kind of wonder if they're going to be able to use him as a kind of return to the God is the fish out of water on Earth, which they played up a lot in Thor 1, right? You can't do that with Thor anymore. He knows all this stuff.
Well,
You've got
you
new,
have new Asgard on Earth. It's like you can't.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And
he's not really on Earth. He's out there, doing stuff wrong with
but
with
look at She-Hulk. When she's trying to when they're convicting the elf, and the elf's trying to use Asgard's not a place. It's and you go, you can't use a nice speech from Thor. It doesn't count in court. So it's like Earth knows all about the Asgardian gods and all that kind of mystical stuff now.
Yeah, Red Goldstein, true to his character, even cursed in the MS speech. So, really cool. Yeah, I liked it. I guess we didn't really talk about the actual conclusion of the movie, but I really like the whole I know it feels cheesy, but it's it fits with this movie, and that's why the movie's called Love and Thunder. And
I know, but am I the only one? Like, you're trying to figure out where the fuck are they when he's making her breakfast, and then they run outside and they see the people, and you see them running out from this space Winnebago. Anybody else first thought go back to Spaceballs?
No, I can see that now.
I mean, it's a Winnebago with wings. I'm like going, what the fuck? Where's Lone Star? Where's Bart? It's like
that's funny. Yeah, I didn't even think of that when I saw that. So I like that. I think the little girl was Thor's daughter, or
no, it's Chris
Hemsworth's
daughter. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Kristen Bell's daughter.
No.
It's Christian.
No, wait, I'm talking about the actress. I think she's one of their daughters.
I think it's Hemsworth's daughter, and his whole family was in the movie.
But his little son played the little Thor that was running at the beginning of the film.
Yeah, right.
And his wife was the wolf woman. On top of the wolf woman.
Top of the wolf woman.
That's what Core said. That's how he described it. So. Really cool. Like I said, I think overall we all really like the movie. So we're gonna stop here for the audio listeners. So for anyone listening to this on audio,
wait for Clay.
Yeah. Oh no, just for the audio listeners.
Oh, okay.
We're still going. So thanks for the audio listeners. Make sure to share, subscribe, all the stuff that you can do on the podcast. Give us a rating. And now we're gonna continue for everyone that stick around on the stream.
Just going to give you guys a heads up. If I get a phone call, I might have to drop out for a few minutes. My car got broken into on Thursday, so I'm waiting for the glass people to come fix my windshield. So if they call, I have to go out and listen in.
Yeah, all good. I mean, we'll probably got another 30 minutes or so.
Okay.
But yeah, if you need to drop out or
I'll drop out the video for you. I'm not leaving.
Okay, cool. So now we get to talk a little bit about some of the stuff we've been into this past week. And
Legoland with the existential question.
Yeah, I'll kick us. Wait, you do? You have an existential question? You said?
No. Legoland in the chat. And
Legos in the
audio
chat.
Listeners aren't all listeners audio listeners.
That's a great question. I don't know. Are they? Yeah, I guess so.
Well, unless they're reading lips.
Oh, fair point.
So you have an interpreter that listens to the podcast and then they say it. And wow, yeah, this is getting real complicated. I don't know. It's such a crisis to the show. We're always at some kind of crisis here. It's a comic podcast. That's the bread and butter of the comics.
Yes, that's true. That's called every major event.
It's still happening. We have a dark crisis going on at DC right now.
Oh my god. Anyways, sorry, Daniel, go ahead. I keep derailing you.
So I don't have a lot, but I do want to talk. So I did watch Clerks 3.
Ooh, I'm so excited.
I have a review in the channel, so make sure to go check that out.
My friend Sonny saw it 2 days ago, and he goes, planning for the worst, hoping for the best. And I asked him how it was, and he goes, it sucked.
Really?
What's your opinion?
Does your friend like the other Clerks movies?
Yeah, but he's my friend Sonny. He's out in California. He's been his whole dream is to become an actor. He's been out there for 15 years. So but then sometimes he can be very critical on a lot of films. He'll really deep dive and analyze it. He's had some really, I don't want to say negative, but he hasn't been the biggest fan of some Marvel stuff too. So,
well, I mean, I just watched this the other I don't like all the Kevin Smith movies, especially some of the stuff with just Jay and Silent Bob. I'm not a big fan of. I like them more. I like them more with the other like
Understandable.
the Clerks crew. And I like stuff like Dogma and you know Red
Well,
State
so
and
yeah,
stuff like
and
that.
I love Kevin Smith stuff. I mean, I liked Tusk. I liked Yoga Hosers.
See, I don't like Tusk. I don't like
Oh, see, I
Joe's.
did.
Like so, like some of the stuff can get too weird for me. But I like Clerks. I like all the characters. I think they're fun and yeah, the movie like it's funny. It's self-referential because it's a Kevin Smith movie. It's full of cameos because it's a Kevin Smith movie
yeah.
and he has a lot of friends and he loves making movies with his friends. And I think that's what I like the most about the Clerks movies, that it really just feels like he's making a movie with his friends. And obviously this one has a lot more to say because he did this after he had his heart attack, and then the movie kind of it's very meta about that stuff.
Yeah.
So I think if you like the past two Clerks, you'll probably like this one.
Where do you put it in the line of like if you had to rate the three of the Clerks films?
I think the second was my favorite, and then the first one, it's been a long time since I saw the first one, but I think it is better because it is more original. I don't know. I had to rewatch the first one again before I can match it up against 3.
I need to see 3. The way I put it is I think 2 comes out my favorite over 1, but I think 1 is the better film for everything. Everything that was being like his first time making a movie. It was like independent. It was like one of those first independent films during the 90s when that boom was starting. Yeah. Altogether, I think the first one is a better put together film, but I think 2 is a lot more fun.
I think when 2 came out, I was the perfect age for all that nonsense. So definitely like, and then I went back. I think I watched Clerks 1 very close to the release of Clerks 2 because I wanted to go into it knowing so. But yeah, I would need to rewatch it to rank them. But it's a fun time, I think.
Okay.
I need to see Clerks 3. I'm pretty excited about it because I feel like so far he hasn't made a bad Clerks film, and I could say I could not say that about some of his other films that have spun off each other.
And I'm going to throw this out there right now. I don't care what anybody says. I love Clerks animated series.
Oh no, I do too.
I think that's like I think that's one of my favorite things he's ever done.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, and it's irreverent and weird, but genuinely funny like throughout. I just rewatched the series maybe last year.
Nice.
I mean, it's 6 episodes. It's not hard to rewatch, but I'm kind of curious if I'm going to feel the same way about Clerks 3 and all the Clerks films as I do about the
It's gold, Jerry. Gold.
About the like Before Sunrise, Before Sunset, and those films, which is I can't really rank them because I associate them each with a passage of time. And this seems to be the same thing. It's like Clerks is, Clerks in their 20s. Clerks 2 is Clerks in their 30s. And now, Clerks 3 is them in middle age and kind of pondering death. So
it's funny you put it that way. In my review, and I don't know how many people have seen it, but I might get killed for this. I called Clerks 3 the end game of the VSQ universe.
Interesting.
Just not so much because of the quality of the movie, just like the purpose of the movie.
Right. Yeah.
So very parallel. Whereas I think Reboot was their Infinity War.
Okay, I got you.
I think this is the end game, which is really weird to say, but I think
I like it.
It's a
that
good
makes a lot of sense because I think even Smith has said he wouldn't have made Clerks 3 the way that he did unless he had done Reboot, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think, and I don't think this movie will probably be out on VOD pretty soon. I think he's only got the Fandango events going this weekend, and then he's doing the tour on his own. But I'm sure Lionsgate wants to get that money from all the people that didn't want to go to an event or couldn't go to an event or are not going to the tour. So I'm sure this movie will be out on digital very soon. So
I feel like Reboot came out on VOD pretty quickly. Is this not getting just like a normal theatrical release? Is it only the Fandango?
Nope, it's only Fandango and the tour, as far as I know. But Fandango did extend it throughout the weekend because originally it was only going to be, I believe, Thursday and Friday events. And I guess they had so much demand for it that they're like, we're extending it. And they might do more. I don't know. So yeah, I mean, we'll see. Whenever you guys get to watch it, let me know what you think. But I think it was a good time. Like I told Clay, I think we talked about it earlier. Like I cried during the movie, which I was not expecting. But I think, as you said, like as we get older as viewers and as Smith gets older as a creator, like there's a different focus on things. Like important things are different than what they used to be when Clerks 2 came out or when Clerks 1 came out, right? So
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of worried to watch it because I've aged in real time with these movies, right? I was 19.
I think that's what Smith's counting on too.
Yeah,
This
exactly.
movie. So
Yeah,
I think
I was 19 when the first film came out.
Yeah.
And I was, in my 30s and becoming a father when Clerks 2 came out. So I'm kind of worried.
we're actually I want to need you to live stream your reaction, your viewing of this movie.
Exactly.
Oh man, I kind of want to now because like I've heard, like you've given it a great review. My buddy Terry said he cried during it, and so I want to see what it is. I'm just worried that it's a death or something to kind of finalize the Clerks series, and I don't know.
Well, I know from the trailer he plays around with what was supposed to be the original end of Clerks, right? Which is where Dante gets shot. So I know just from the trailer there's a shot of like a guy standing in the shop holding a gun, which if you've ever seen that deleted scene, Clerks was originally supposed to end a very different way.
Oh yeah.
So, which thank God it didn't.
Yeah, thank God it didn't,
Yeah.
because then we got to see a donkey show.
And that's why you cried.
Yeah. Yeah, in Clerks 2, the donkey show was funny, and Clerks 3 is very sad. So, no, I'm just kidding. No spoilers for Clerks 3. All right, I'll let you guys. Who wants to jump in? I know a lot of you guys have a lot of stuff that you read. So, if y'all want to just pick a few things and maybe talk about that, Kyle, we'll start with you. I like your list. And you have something that I also read, so let's talk about that.
Okay, so I think Josh probably read this. I read Savage Avengers #5, which deals with you find out at the end of issue #4 that the Deathlock that's fighting them is Miles Morales.
Right.
So they're now in Conan's realm, and they're taking on this evil deity, and then eventually it gets to the point where basically Thor's back in his own world. He ends up saving the day. The rest of the crew, the Weapon X, Elektra, Anti-Venom, all get thrown through a time warp. They end up on another Earth, except there's a power inhibitor there, and they can't transform. And you find out later that they're in the world of 2099, and the Punisher 2099 is there. It's like, who the hell are you guys? So it's like, okay, so we got the Savage Avengers, traveling the multiverse. This could be kind of interesting.
I love that they're playing in the 2099 universe.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. Me too.
This is another instance, last issue of an alt cover spoiling the surprise in the story. And I just want Marvel to stop doing this, please.
Oh, was it, or at least polybag it, motherfucker?
Yeah, come on. Jesus Christ, it makes me so mad. I would have liked to have gotten to the end of issue 4 and be like, oh my God, it's Miles Morales. But instead, I was picking it up at the store and Deathlock's coming out of literally Miles Morales' grave. And I'm like, why is,
Yeah.
bitches.
Is it an homage to the Spider-Man cover?
It is. It is.
Of course it is.
Sorry, Kyle. Go on.
You're fine. You're fine. I also read Daredevil #3. This is basically Daredevil. He's talking to the back when they were doing the storyline where he basically killed a man. There was that one detective who was trying to always catch him. He's trying to make amends with him, and then he goes to meet with Luke Cage, and he goes, "So I see you're still being the mayor." And he's going to meet with, I can't remember their names, but these twins that apparently are evil also. And he says, you're no longer, the Kingpin's no longer in power. You don't have to keep doing this. And he goes, and what? Leave somebody else to get in power? So no, I'm going to take this as full force. So he meets with the twins, decides, if you ever come after my, family, they say you can't stop us. And if you ever come after my family, you'll see what really can happen. Daredevil's in there. He gets found out by some other agents. He ends up fighting this, what looks like a member of the Hand, but some kind of ninja girl who can elude him, and says there's no reason to kill you because you have a big part to play in the story coming up. And then it just leaves him there, and then it kind of ends on with he ends up he gets to Foggy's apartment, ends up crumpling on the ground in pain, and he goes, Foggy, pack your bags, we're going on a one-way trip. And I think the next issue is them going to look for Elektra to kind of start with what's going on.
But she's here.
She's everywhere.
Yeah, I know.
It's time to,
Multiverse.
after they finish the Savage Avengers run, they're gonna drop her off right before all the Daredevil stuff. So she can be in the right time zone.
Comics are so confusing.
Ended up reading the last issue of Godzilla
No.
versus the Power
No
Rangers.
spoilers for this one. I haven't read it. Please. Just tell me if you liked it or not.
Yeah, it was fine. You know,
I do want to read this one.
This feels more like the story was even though they're using the most recent, not the American Godzilla, but the most more recent Godzilla from the Toho films. It feels like if you were to take Saban's Power Rangers and merge it with one of the 1973 Godzilla films, that's kind of where
cool.
the feel of the story kind of goes.
Yeah, I'll catch up on this one and then we can actually talk about it.
After that,
I now spoiler warning for this one. You can go into spoilers on this one, but I want to give the people a spoiler warning because there's a big spoiler that maybe DC spoiled themselves. But go ahead.
What?
Oh, you with
Batman and Robin.
Batman and Robin.
Batman versus Robin #1.
Oh, versus.
So this is basically, it's as far as we know, it's the return of Alfred from the dead, but you're not sure how he is back. Ends up showing up at Wayne. They're at Wayne Manor now. I don't know why they're not at the Greystone and Gotham City, but they're at the thing. Bruce is still questioning, but Alfred starts doing stuff. He's like, okay, maybe you're real. So they go down to the looking for Damien down in the Batcave, and there's Damien who's been infected by an evil presence, but he's got 2 other kids with him. And if I'm not mistaken, one is Jakeem Thunder, so it's definitely from JSA. But I think the other kid, I'm not totally sure, but it was the kid who it was from the late 80s, early 90s run of New Titans. It was the telekinetic kid who Phantasm, or I think
I think something like that.
Yeah, and they end up taking on Bruce, and they're able to get out of there, but and they escape. And basically, Alfred kind of gives them the little time they need, because when Damien sees him, he almost comes out of his trance, but then goes back into it. Ends up shooting Bruce. Bruce falls off a cliff, but realizes there's a ladder he'd forgotten about, and it leads down to the Bat boat. So they're looking for this warehouse, and you go in, and the evil presence that's in there, I can't remember the guy's name, but it's this red devil-looking dude who looks like the dude who?
Neza.
Oh, I thought it was going to be the villain they announced for Black Adam.
It's the villain. No, that's Sabak. So Neza comes from. So Mark Waid is writing this book. That character was introduced in Mark Waid's World's Finest in the last. And so if you want to know more about him, go back and read the World's Finest up until issue 5 or 6. So yeah, it's really.
Oh,
cool.
You're right. Okay, you're right. Okay.
Yeah, Mark Waid is doing some weird shit.
Yeah, and that was that was supposed to be years before. That was one of the earlier kind of when Dick was still raw. Okay, I got you.
This was the variant I picked up for Batman and Robin.
Oh wow!
I love it because there's so much magic in this story that obviously that's Damien knows that's Batman's weakness really, because he doesn't fully understand it. So really cool stuff.
And I only got one last one. So it's Spider-Man #9 or Amazing Spider-Man #9. This just kind of it's like a sort of a continuation of one of the last X-Men books, where Maura McTarget is now the sort of the villain. They end up leaving with Mary Jane, who's working with Krakoa, but her aunt's working with them, and basically it takes Spider-Man and Wolverine have to go save her.
Yeah, yeah, really, really weird. That was odd, but
yeah, but it's an interesting, nice little Spider-Man Wolverine team up issue.
Yeah, cool. Josh, you want to run through some of your stuff too?
Yeah, I'll try and be a bit selective. First off, just in terms of stuff I've watched, I've been in a weird old movie kick. So I finally watched the original 1933 King Kong. I'd never seen the whole thing. Yeah, I'd never seen the whole thing. I'd seen bits and pieces. And
are you hearing this?
Yeah.
What? It's great. And I will say, if you keep there's horrible racism in it, but if you keep your head
in an old movie,
in a 1933 movie set in Africa,
and then you wonder why I don't go back and watch.
It's not Africa.
Yeah.
I
know, but even despite all that, if you keep your head focused on the fact this was done in 33, there are still some startling special effects shots in that movie. That you're just how the hell did they do this? Huh?
anytime they do a close up of Kong's face.
Kind of the Kong face, but I'm also thinking of just stuff like where they're using the rear projection and masking to show like everyone running away from Kong as he like storms into the the Kong City.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just it was great. It was fun. I also rewatched The Big Sleep because I don't get why people hate that movie. I love that movie. I love that movie so much. And a absolutely pitch perfect double feature is to watch The Big Sleep and then go watch The Big Lebowski. Because there are, I mean, the whole scene with Lebowski in the mansion, that's the opening of The Big Sleep. Yeah. And the Coen brothers said we basically wanted to do a Raymond Chandler film where the lead is inept. And that's what The Big Lebowski is, right? So if you watch those back to back, it's kind of fun.
You watched the 46 version, not the 78 one, right?
Yeah, the 46, not the 78. And then I watched rewatch for like the third time, mainly because we wanted to show it to our daughter, The Haunting, which, and again, do not watch the remake from the 90s. It's awful. It's terrible. I hate it. Watch
Too late. That's the one I've seen.
Watch the original from '63 with a very young Derek Jacobi. It is phenomenal. It's so good. It is, you know, I saw it when I was not really big into horror movies, and watching it and realizing how good horror could be psychologically got me more into wanting to watch horror. So it's such a great movie. So anyway, just three kind of classic films.
You want me to not watch the movie with Liam Neeson, Catherine Zeta-Jones, and Owen Wilson? And
I forget who all was in that. Wow,
yeah, right.
That is bad.
Yes, just like, awful.
Quick tangent. Sorry, I know yesterday Need for Speed came on, which I know it's a terrible movie, but then I saw like a scene and I was like, "Holy shit! Everyone is in this movie."
Really?
Like Dominic Preacher guy's in it. Aaron Paul was the main guy. Mr. Robot's in it.
Wow.
Yeah, like the cast is stacked. I think, yeah, if you go, I might have to actually watch the movie. I know it's not good, but anyway, sorry, Josh.
No, it's fine. So anyway, so I just watched that stuff. In terms of comics, I read a bunch of stuff over the last 2 weeks. I've got a question for you guys, because as I was reading, so I read Twig #5, which was the end of the series. I read Alice Ever After #5, end of the series. I read for this week, I read Spider-Punk #5, end of the series. Am I wrong? Didn't series like this used to go for 6 issues? And when did 5 issues become the norm? Or am I just out of touch? Has that always been the norm?
When money
I think it
tight.
varied. I think I don't know how often 5, but I remember 3. You get limited issues that ran at 3 issues, like Contest of Champions was like one of the first minis. And then it was 6, pretty standard for a long time. I'm trying to remember. 5 has been like in the past 20 years.
Oh, really? That long? Okay.
Because let me tell you about shrinkflation. This way they can, not so much the single issues, but this way they can charge you the same price for the trade when that only collects 5.
Yeah, because again, I'm still reading Immortal Red Sonja. This is issue 6, but it's the first issue of a new story arc. So again, it's like they'll package the first 5 issues, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, I was just kind of curious because I enjoyed Spider-Punk a lot. Really, really enjoyed it. It could have benefited from one more issue, honestly.
Oh, cool.
And not like in a bad way. It's still a nice kind of tight story, but there's so much world building in this that to kind of jam it into 5 issues, I felt was a little. I want more of this universe, right? So anyway, I read Love Everlasting #2. I got this cover, which man, this book is just great. I have no fucking
so good. It's so good.
I have no idea what's happening, but it is a ton of fun. And then I didn't. It's fine, but I kind of keep reading all these Ablaze books, like Bellet and Valeria, kind of the two main female characters from Conan, which I read issues 3 and 4, and it's getting very interesting. There's a kind of, I'm picking up on kind of a meta subplot where they keep referring to the writer, and I think they mean Robert Howard, but he hasn't shown up as a character yet. So I'm at this point, I'm like just reading along, like I don't know what's happening, but I'm just gonna follow this through to the end.
They're still trying to get the license to his likeness.
It could be. It could be. But I picked up this Ablaze book, which is basically a comic adaptation of the Lovecraft story, Unknown Kadath. And I'll just admit, I'm a sucker for these Ablaze alt covers that look like comic covers by Marvel from the 80s. Like it just gives me all the feels. So I almost always pick them up. It's fine. It's got good art. It's, the story's kind of okay. But it was not my favorite book from this week.
More like A-OK comics, eh?
Yeah, exactly. More like anyway. But I did want to shout out, because this is something I rarely do, and you guys know, because I'm not a big like comic collector. But even though I bought all 6 issues of Batman 89, I had to get the hardback as soon as it came out. And I want to give props for the design of this, because not only is it just a beautifully packaged book, if you take
the jacket off,
take it off. Yes.
You were alive when this came out. This hitting VHS was a big fucking deal. And this is nearly identical to how it looked. And I even like the little handwritten spine here of Batman 89. Oh, this book packaging is just so great. I love it so much.
I bet you there's some nerd online that actually knows what scene is just based on the amount of tape that's on each roll.
Yes. Oh God, you're probably right. It's sorry.
It's covered up. I hate that it's covered up.
I know exactly. Well, yes and no, because I love this cover.
Yeah.
This painting.
The only thing, I wish it wasn't shiny, the undercover.
Yeah, I agree. If it was matte, that would be
matte. Yeah, I think that would have been. I mean, it looks cool, but I think as a tape, it would have looked cooler if it was matte. Or maybe just matte all around it, except for those 2 parts where the glass would be, or something like that.
Yeah, I really do. I do kind of plan. I'm going to go back and watch Batman Returns and then read this, because I feel like that's going to be the true trilogy we always need, So. Yeah, I am so happy about this book. It just makes me so happy.
That's good.
Right.
Nice.
Cool.
Anyway,
Clay, you want to hit a few things? I know we're kind of running long, but
that's okay.
You can run a few things. Your favorite pick? I know you have a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I just comics wise, I read the first 10 issues of 8 Ball with Dan Clowes, and it's just great to kind of revisit that time period of 89 to 93.
Yeah.
Like in one of the last issues I read, he's just talking about in 93 how we were just overstimulated by the world and everything, with so much cable TV. And I mean, we were just now getting, it was the beginning of the internet and cell phones if you had money. but it was amazing to see that kind of snapshot of him just commenting on how we were inundated with so much media and overstimulated, and we were it's only going to get worse.
It is worse.
Yeah. But Dan Clowes has I love his art style. I love, his take at that time period was very Gen X. So it's great, like revisiting his old books. And then I went online looking, and they have like really incredible collections. So if you were a fan and you want to get like the hardbacks, they have like collected book sets that are phenomenal. One's coming out in the next few months, and they've got it down to $50.
Nice.
Is this through Fantagraphics?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna look that up, because I had a copy of Velvet Glove for a long time that I sold off, and I need to get these back. That
book is insane. That story is weird.
I have such a unique experience of reading that book that I would tell you guys. I'm pretty sure I've told you before, Clay, but I'll tell you guys offline. So
I reread Secret Invasion because a buddy of mine wanted to borrow the book, so I have gotten tons of notes prepared for us to talk about that show before it starts, because that book is so just full of shit that's happening in the MCU at that time period, and it's Bendis throwing every character in he can.
Mm-hmm.
You get the Wrecking Crew. You don't know who's a Skrull and who's not, and I feel like the TV show is going to lean more in towards the spy aspect, more of like the way the Winter Soldier was done. It's not going to be as comic-like as the miniseries was. Plus, I know that there's a new Secret Invasion storyline that's coming out in the next month or two.
I like your style, Clay. Somebody asks you for the book, and you're like, "No, fuck you, I'm reading it."
Well, I gave it to him last night, but I like reread and had every note for us to do a show on it. So I thought the Rogues had finished at 3, the Rogues Black Label series. So I read those 3 issues, and then found out there's a 4th that's the final issue. And my comic book store I finally got to for the first time in a month, and they didn't have the 4th issue.
Oh.
But I love that book. I just love like the aging villains getting together for one giant heist, and they're going to rob Gorilla Grodd. It's just fucking insane and fun.
And they had some amazing covers. I really liked seeing the covers for that. So
yeah, Bill Sienkiewicz did a Gorilla Grodd on issue 3. That's like one of the variants that I love. And then I broke into Criminal Deluxe Edition Volume 2. The first story is Bad Night. Plus, there's another backup. There's a story that's in the back that was only printed in a Dark Horse Presents. And that's what I love about getting these collections is finding stuff that was like a hard to find or printed elsewhere. That's a short story that's so good. Yeah, Justice for Grodd. Oh, it's weird how they portray Grodd in the book as, you know, he's the king, but he's also a father and a husband. You know, it
makes you wonder. It makes you wonder, how long do gorillas live?
Dude, exactly, because you see a very old aging Captain Cold.
Yep.
You know, everyone in there is kind of like aged and become a very different person than they were in the early days of the Flash, except for Trickster, who has had a lot of plastic surgery and is very aware of how he looks and wants to try to maintain that youth.
To answer Daniel's question, 30 to 40 years.
Oh boy.
Wow.
This book is full of horse manure.
But I won't jump into all the stuff I watched other than the Stranger Things finale. It was just fucking phenomenal. I loved that. And Eddie Munson was just a great fucking character. And he has the rock concert of all time in that final episode, and it is so awesome. And not a lot of people know that Eddie Munson was based on one of the Memphis 3. Is it the West Memphis 3? Yeah,
oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Because of the satanic panic at the time, you know, and it's starting to come back. They're starting to use that bullshit again, and the way the D&D was happening, and parents saying, well, that's the occult and all this bullshit. And they used a lot of this crap against the West Memphis 3 to put them in jail. And there were 3 kids. I'll let you guys do the research. Yeah. There's a bunch of documentaries, but they got them out of jail, and only recently, like in the past 5 to 10 years. But it was 3 kids convicted of a crime they didn't commit, and were saying it dealt with the occult and that kind of bullshit. It kind of the storyline that Eddie Munson goes through in Stranger Things season 4.
Yeah, it's called the U.S.
Yes. South still.
Oh, cool. All right, let me do real quick. I just want to show you guys some comics that I did get. You can find reviews about all these. We'll invite Lego for a show on the West Memphis 3 in the future.
Perfect.
Oh yeah. Oh
yeah.
I bet. So real quick, I got this Wonder Woman Harley 30th anniversary variant. I'm not really reading the Wonder Woman book, but I really like the cover. Also, Judgment Day, the Peach Momoko variant. I love her covers. They're so cool.
Yeah.
Midnight Suns #1, which I'm surprised Kyle didn't read.
I tried. I just couldn't get into it.
Okay. Yeah.
Man.
I like the book, but I also was enjoying Strange Academy, so it has a lot of those kind of vibes. So I'll be reading that. And then the coolest thing I got, because today is Batman Day, a fucking facsimile copy of Detective Comics 27. This will be worth millions in 30 years when they can't find any more of the original.
I do love those because they include all the original ads and
Oh
stuff.
yeah, dude. Yeah, look at the back. This is the back of the book.
Sweet.
Amazing.
It is. It
Best-
is.
As if you could mail order your own printing press. I mean,
I'm
come
about
on.
to.
Best scene in that movie, or that issue, is the guy. Batman's on top of a building wrestling with a guy and just throws him off the building, like
exactly.
just throws him. It's like, well, there goes his life.
I'm gonna go in and write yeet on that. Look, and the funniest thing is that not a lot of people know these books were anthology books.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's the Batman story is like the first 6 pages, maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The rest is just other stuff that was ongoing. So really cool stuff. So yeah, there it is. To close out, I know we got a bunch of stuff to talk about, but just real quick, Josh, are you watching She-Hulk?
I've seen the first episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about it?
I mean, based on just that one, I'm enjoying it. I think
cool.
Yeah.
Well,
Why?
it gets better because it gets better.
It gets a lot better.
It's really
really?
funny. I really like it. I'm really enjoying it. So hopefully Josh can catch up at his dinner. I don't know why you're not watching it at dinner. It's 30 minutes.
Posted. I have said let's watch She-Hulk for dinner, and I'm just getting a lot of.
What are you guys watching instead?
We just started Miracle Workers because we just finished Ted Lasso.
Oh, okay.
So we got through both seasons of Ted Lasso. We started Miracle Workers, so we're up to episode 3 of just the first season. I'm really curious. I mean, I'm enjoying it, but I'm curious how they're going to move to these other time periods that I know they moved to in season 2 and 3. So anyway,
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I won't fault you too much for that. But yeah, this episode was a lot of fun, and they just keep getting better. So hopefully you'll get to watch it eventually.
All right. Yeah, I mean, if I can't get the others to sit down, I'll just binge it. So
it's really quick.
It's a
You
quick
could really-
binge. Like,
Yeah,
you got through
you
it
could really sneak some episodes in because
And
they're
I may
very
have
short.
to.
They're like 25 minutes, 30 tops.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
So
That's good because they haven't really done that yet. I mean, almost all the MCU shows have been.
other than the first 3 of WandaVision that were
That's right.
the length of the original sitcoms.
Exactly. That was a conceptual.
What about What If?
Yeah, those were about 30 minutes each.
Right.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, I think that's our show for the day. I didn't really have anything to recommend. I know Clay's got something, so we can let you recommend something, Clay, since you're the only one that wrote something in the notes.
I got something too, but you go first, Clay.
I'm just a big fan of the movie The Monster Squad that came out in the 80s. It's a Shane Black story with kids dealing with the Universal monsters. And there is a documentary about the film and its fans and the history of it called The Wolfman's Got Nards. And it's on Tubi, so you can watch it for free. And it is just really one of the best documentaries I've seen about film fandom and how important it is, and just the love that people get from media, and how important this movie was to them in different aspects. Most people are like going through shit and they try to use this as an escape. And this was a really big film for them. And so it's neat to see, because most of the people that were in it and made it kind of gave up on it because it wasn't a big hit that they thought it was going to be at the time. And so to see it still lasting up to now, that they are making a movie about the movie, was really touching to see.
Cool.
Will you look it up, Kyle?
I've got to find the date, but they actually, Dallas Vintage Toys actually has 2 of the main stars from Monster Squad coming for a signing in the next week or 2, I think.
Oh, cool.
Well, Josh, what did you have?
Well, I was trolling Humble Bundle this morning like I do. Now, first off, I could recommend, but it's too rich for my blood. Fossil, for Batman Day, re-released their very cool Batman exclusive watch again. It's $250.
That's why I didn't get it the first time you sent it over.
Yeah, I know. It's the same watch too.
Because I have this. I don't really wear watches.
Yeah, I know, and I'm kind of holding out for the upcoming Pixel Watch to move back to that. But so anyway, so too rich for my blood. But if you are in the mood for some kind of classic historical based strategy games, Humble Bundle yesterday just dropped
Always.
a Total War game bundle. For $12, you get Medieval 2 Definitive Edition, Shogun 2, Shogun 2 DLC, Total War Empire, the original Medieval Total War Napoleon, Shogun Total War collection, and then a weird one-off game called Viking Battle for Asgard.
That's the weird one.
That's the weird one. $12 for all of
Oh
it.
wow,
What a
Yeah.
steal.
that's awesome.
So go check it out if you're interested. It's got it just dropped, so it's still got like 13 days left.
Cool. All
on.
right. Well,
on.
that's gonna do it for today. Stay tuned. Oh,
I think I've got something.
I threw a link in the chat real quick. Just post that real quick. This is for Clay. It's October 21st.
sorry, my
So if
computer
anybody
doesn't respond-
is a fan
it doesn't
of
respond well on Facebook.
okay. Well, yeah, it's a yeah. So Andre Gower and then
Ryan Lambert.
Ryan
Yeah.
Lambert.
those are both the main guys. It's the main guy and the one who played the guy the kid with the jacket.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
October 21st. Yeah.
Well, that'll do it for our show. Thanks everyone for watching. Everyone that was here live: Leonard Kim, Lego, Man Cave Theater. I don't think I missed
Love that
anyone.
name.
So cool.
Gregory Castillo.
Oh yeah, Greg Castillo hyping us up always, Greg. So yeah, that'll do it for today. Make sure to share, like, subscribe, leave us a comment. Let us know if you like Thor: Love and Thunder, or if you're reading comics, or just leave a comment. Did it helps with the algorithm? I guess I don't know.
Did you hate Eternity as much as Kyle did?
Yeah, right.
I love the fact they showed him. I just wish he had interacted with them. That's
Who?
all.
Let us know then who should voice Eternity.
Okay.
And
why it should be Gilbert Gottfried. R.I.P.
and if you see Need for Speed, can you believe that all those people were in that movie? All right, cool. Thanks everyone. Bye, guys.
Take care.
Yeah.
And let's get out of
Let's
here.
ride.
Thanks everyone for watching.
Twitter loves you.
Oh yeah. Clay.
Hell, Bebo.
Josh? Simonson, or get the fuck out.